Why did Jisoo BLACKPINK skip the biggest music event of the year, the MTV VMAs 2025, only to suddenly appear as a nominee at the Breaktudo Awards? This question has shaken fans around the globe, leaving many stunned, others confused, and almost everyone desperate for answers. Imagine the scene: the flashing lights of the VMAs stage, the anticipation of K-pop fans waiting to see their favorite idols, and then the shocking absence of Jisoo. No red carpet moment, no powerful performance, not even a cameo in the audience. The silence was deafening. And yet, just days later, headlines screamed that Jisoo had landed a nomination at the Breaktudo Awards. What is really happening here? The story begins months earlier when Kim Jisoo dropped her solo EP Immortage in February 2025. Project was bold, cinematic, and layered with raw emotion, showing a side of Jisoo that even longtime fans weren't expecting. The lead single, Earthquake, instantly made waves, charting across global platforms and sparking conversations about her artistry. It wasn't just another idol release, it was a statement. Music insiders described it as a carefully calculated move that positioned Jisoo as not only a singer but also a cultural brand. In the language of marketing psychology, this was a rebranding campaign disguised as music. By choosing February, a month often dominated by Western pop releases and Valentine's Day themes, Jisoo carved out space where her name couldn't be ignored. And it worked. Fast forward to the summer of 2025. BLACKPINK had been on their Deadline World Tour, setting arenas on fire across continents. By the time the VMAs rolled around in September, the group was in the middle of a much-needed break. Fans expected at least a virtual appearance or a video message from Jisoo, but instead they got nothing. Why would an artist with a song nominated for Best K-pop Song skip such a career-defining moment? Some say it was scheduling. Others whisper it was strategy. In the entertainment industry, skipping an event isn't always a mistake. It can be a calculated decision to increase scarcity, and scarcity is one of the most powerful psychological triggers in both marketing and investment. When something is rare, people want it even more. Jisoo's absence made her presence louder. And then came the twist. While the world debated her VMAs no-show, Jisoo's name appeared in the Breaktudo Awards nominations list under Asian Artist. Suddenly, the silence turned into noise. Breaktudo might not be as internationally recognized as MTV, but in certain markets, especially in Latin America, it holds enormous influence. This is where brand strategy becomes fascinating. The VMAs represent Western prestige, Breaktudo represents emerging market growth. By letting her name shine there, Jisoo was tapping into new fan bases and reinforcing her dominance outside the predictable US circuit. It's like an investor skipping Wall Street to make a groundbreaking move in a fast-growing foreign market. The returns could be even greater in the long run. The imagery of Jisoo in September 2025 also fueled the conversation. While she wasn't walking the VMA's red carpet, she was dominating fashion covers worldwide. She graced Marie Claire Korea with a DIOR Parfait campaign and Vogue Hong Kong with visuals that screamed elegance and power. These weren't casual photo shoots, they were strategic placements. In brand value terms, fashion spreads in iconic magazines can sometimes deliver more impact than a fleeting award show appearance. Because while the VMAs trend for a night, a Vogue cover lives forever in cultural memory. Think of it like building equity instead of chasing quick cash flow. Jisoo was investing in longevity. But here's where the story turns even more suspenseful. Fans began to speculate. Was her VMA's absence part of a bigger plan connected to BLACKPINK's future? Remember, Lisa had just returned to Korea, Jennie had sparked headlines with mid-performance controversies, and Jisoo was navigating her solo momentum. If you piece it together, the timing feels less like coincidence and more like strategy. Imagine a chess game where every move seems random until you realize the queen is being positioned for checkmate. Could Jisoo's VMA's silence actually be the calm before a storm that connects her solo journey with BLACKPINK's next chapter? At the halfway mark of this story, here's the cliffhanger. What if Jisoo's absence wasn't about the VMAs at all, but about building leverage for something even bigger, like negotiating future contracts, expanding her brand empire, or even spearheading BLACKPINK's return with a completely new image? In the business of entertainment, timing is currency, and the best entrepreneurs know when to show up and when to hold back. Jisoo might be playing a game that few can see, but everyone will feel once the next move drops. And if history tells us anything, Blackpink doesn't return small. They return like an earthquake. Now let's zoom out and look at this from a brand psychology angle. Jisoo skipping the VMAs created what marketers call a narrative vacuum. People hate unanswered questions, and the human brain is wired to seek closure. By leaving that gap, she forced global media and fans to fill it with speculation, keeping her name trending without her lifting a finger. It's the same principle startups use when they tease a product but delay the launch. Anticipation builds value. In fact, you could say Jisoo turned her absence into free advertising. Think about it. One silent night at the VMAs gave her weeks of global coverage. That's ROI no marketing budget could buy. Her Breaktudo nomination also shows a clever understanding of diversification. In investment, you don't put all your money in one stock, no matter how shiny it looks. You diversify to balance risk and reward. Jisoo did the same with her brand. She could have focused solely on the Western spotlight, but instead she extended her influence into Latin America, a market where Kpop is exploding and fan loyalty is unmatched. This is entrepreneurship at its finest, entering new territories before the competition realizes the opportunity. And just like a good entrepreneur, she didn't just show up, she showed up nominated, instantly boosting her credibility. Of course, there's also a human layer. Fans were torn between pride and frustration. Pride because their idol was nominated internationally, frustration because they wanted to see her celebrated on one of the world's biggest stages. Some joked online, saying Jisoo was pulling a strategic ghost move, while others speculated she was simply exhausted from months of touring. Lightheartedly, you could even say she let the Breaktudo Awards have their main character moment, while the VMAs had to sit in suspense without her star power. Either way, she made people talk, and in the entertainment economy, talk equals value. As the weeks unfold, one thing is becoming clear. Jisoo isn't just an idol playing by the rules of the industry, she's rewriting them. By balancing fashion dominance, music credibility, and selective public appearances, she's building something bigger than just a career. She's building a legacy. And the real twist might not be about the VMAs or the Breaktudo Awards at all. It could be about setting the stage for Blackpink's next global shockwave, a return that could merge their collective power with the individual strength each member has built during this era. So what's really happening? The answer is layered. On the surface, it looks like an absence and a nomination. But underneath, it's a masterclass in brand building, marketing psychology, and timing. Jisoo's choices in 2025 reveal a blueprint for how modern celebrities must navigate fame, not by being everywhere, but by being in the right places at the right time. She skipped the VMAs, yes, but she didn't skip the narrative. She rewrote it. And that's why people can't stop asking questions. And here's the full circle moment. Remember that opening mystery about why Kim Jisoo would skip such a monumental event? The truth might be that she never skipped at all. She redirected. She shifted the stage from where people expected her to be to where she wanted to be. That's not absence. That's power. So as fans debate, critics speculate, and brands take notes, one thing is undeniable. Jisoo BLACKPINK is playing the long game. And just like her song promised, when she finally makes her next move, it won't be quiet. It will hit like an earthquake. If you made it this far, you already know this story is just the beginning. Subscribe, share, and rewatch because the next chapter, Blackpink's massive return and Jisoo's hidden strategies behind it, will be even bigger. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.